5 frames is not a ton. Should be enough for us, hopefully enough for some friends. It's 5 frames more than we got last year, so we're moving in the right direction. Is going to be doing the honors on taking it from the frame and all that. I'm going to try to get both her face and her voice on here. If I do either one, she's going to be mad at me, but I'm still going to try throughout this video. This is my favorite part of the process is watching this as she scrapes it. That's just beautiful to me. Those bees put in a lot of hard work to make that honey, but I think you'll learn from watching this video that we put in a lot of work to get the honey. So the way I see it, we provide them a hive and a house, and we take a little honey. It's kind of like them paying rent. So that's just the way it is. Maybe as landlords we're kind of jerks, but we did spend a lot of money on their housing. So first step is getting it off of the frame, and like I said, it is a lot of work. So when you pay for honey, you're paying for a good bit of work. Or you can buy the store-bought honey, which is probably nothing but sugar syrup, but it's neither here nor there. I grew up actually not liking honey at all, and then a few years ago, my brother got me some local raw honey from a friend of his who's now a friend of mine, but I loved it. It was raw, and not thinking of any health benefits or anything else like that. I just liked it. And later that year, when I wanted some more, the beekeeper that he had gotten it from was out. So I'm not a guy that likes to run out of things. So I decided to get my own honeybees, which is why we're here at least $1,000 later and many work hours later, just because I don't want to run out of raw honey. And we always keep some honey from each year, but this will be our 3rd year pulling honey, and though we've had them for I think 4 or 5 years now. Last year was a bust. So Pove's almost done with frame 1. It's big clumped up. So that's 1 frame of honey with all the honeycomb in it, and you'll see that no matter how hard you try, you end up getting honey everywhere in your kitchen. Like I said, it's a very tedious process, but this is what we do for raw. We sold it last year, or 2 years ago. People wanted it with the honeycomb in it, and you actually can charge more with the honeycomb in it, but it's less work, because basically you see what we're doing. That gives you with the frames we use, that gives you the honey with the honeycomb in it. Now other people use the different frames that can give comb and all that good stuff, but yeah, honeycomb, people charge more, and it's actually less work, because as you'll see, to get it from the frame to the bottle is pretty tedious. But this is frame number 2. Pove, would you like to speak?
No.
All right, you just did.
I guess I should be talking there, but maybe just listen to the honey.
It's a lot of honey.
And she spoke. So halfway there, I got her to talk. So if we can get a visual. That's 2 frames of honey. We're about ready to put it into the next step of the process. So here is the first strainer. I forget how much that strainer cost, but whatever it is, like this strainer is pretty good. So it may be the only strainer. The first year we did it, we went through 3 or 4 different strainers, 3 or 4 different times. It was, by the time we got the honey, it had been strained several times. But we'll try to show dumping it into the strainer. First scoop 2020 into the strainer. It'll take days to strain all the way through, but this is also how we end up with the wax at the end of it. The wax, man, the wax is way worse than the honey, getting wax. I don't know, I think wax is fairly inexpensive to buy, but I know there's a lot of contraptions and all that to do everything you see us doing. You can buy things to make it a lot easier, but we're poor, so this is the way we do it. And also, we don't pull enough honey to justify a lot of money into this. We both have way too many irons in the fire. I write, and my day job takes up a lot of time, and with all the cooking she does and everything else, it's just the honey is one of many irons in the fire, but it's the tastiest iron.
So again, that's 2 frames going into the first set of straining.
And I know I've got friends who have the honey extractors and all that, but they usually have a lot more hives and pull a lot more honey. And like I said, it's all, I guess, you get out of it what you put into it. But if we get enough honey for the year for us, then we're happy. If we get enough honey to sell, we're very happy. Got all that delicious Heard County clover honey going into the strainer. Like I said, I think this strainer may be good just to run through one time. I don't know. Like I said, I remember 2 years ago, man, we strained it probably 3 or 4 different times, but that's why I bought this strainer, because there's I guess a larger strainer, and then underneath that's a smaller one, so it comes out. It should be good to go, but we'll find out together, because I don't remember from 2 years ago.
That's good stuff.
Looks like a honeycomb commercial, except this is real, not full of fake sugar. Well, this is real sugar. I don't know if it's any healthier for you, but I like to think it is. I trust Mother Nature. Guess we can count out Honeycomb ever being a sponsor. It's all right. That conclusion, you have 2 frames of honey in the strainer and 2 frames of honey in the bowl. Oh, if you'll lift that up, that's how much honey we've got strained through already. It's going pretty quickly, pretty goodly, and that goodly. Eesh. That honey looks good. We may not have to strain it anymore. So looks like that strainer bolt is going to pay off this year with a lot of hours saved. All right, so there is 5 frames. We have approximately 2 in the green dish, and then say 3 in the strainer. So we're about to move the honey from the strainer to some jars. We're rushing the process for purposes of this video, but we'll come back maybe and make another video when everything is said and done to show how much we hauled in this year. Typically we'd let that sit for a lot longer, but I want to go ahead and get some in some jars. So that's fresh strained, was on the hive this morning, and will be in our belly soon.
Oh, it's so pretty. And she's making a mess.
This is probably the least amount of honey we've gotten. I know the first year we did it, we had honey over every crevice. But we were also, that year we had 5-gallon buckets, and there were a lot more moving pieces. This being only 5 frames, there's not as much going on, which is either a good thing or a bad thing. I'd rather be dealing with 5-gallon buckets than measuring cups, but you take what you get, or you get what, I don't know. What's left on the strainer after 2 or 3 days, it's a lot of honey in there. It's shocking how much honey is will strain out of there over the course of a couple of days. They really pack them in. First video was talking about how frustrating they are, but now that we're to the honey stage, I can go back to talking about how fascinating they are. So the 2 jars on the right here, that's what we just pulled today, and I have set them beside 2 jars from 2016 and 17. So I guess I told a lie earlier when I said we didn't have honey last year. I guess we didn't pull honey for 2 years in a row. But the funny thing about the honey is, look how dark it is from 2016. We bought 1 nuke from a guy in Tyrone, I guess in 2015, and all of the bees ever since have been on the same plot of land, and we've gotten swarms or whatever. But look at the difference in color. That 2016 didn't turn darker over time. That's how it was when we got it. The 2 on the right, I guess, still have air bubbles in them. Maybe I'm sure that'll go away. But pretty neat. And then we still have the honey going through the sifters, and I will do a follow-up video on all of that and see how much we get. But I suspect those 2 bottles over there will probably be what we keep for ourselves this year. I like keeping a bottle from each year. The 2016 we have had to dip into as our honey supply has run low, but still pretty cool to know that honey is 4 years old.